Alright guys, welcome to this video today. In this one I'm going to be taking you through one of my favourite core exercises for overall development of the core. Now the exercises I'm speaking about are quite advanced, and so if you're not really strong already you might not be able to do these. They are quite high level, but I'll be speaking about sort of progressions that you can build up to these to help you finally get to doing the full exercise and really get those benefits. And as somebody that's training in martial arts, you know, the core is an absolutely crucial aspect in all areas of your performance really, but particularly in developing power and being able to move explosively. It plays a crucial role in the energy transfer during the kinetic chain from the lower body to the upper body and then finally into our strikes. And this is the same with whatever kind of sport you're doing of a similar nature. So if you're doing something like tennis, the same thing's going to apply. But whether you do martial arts or not, you know, having that core strength and really having that stability in the core is just going to improve so many aspects of your performance. And one of the most important things for a martial artist, beyond just power and explosiveness that this develops, is balance and stability. And the more and more I've trained and coached people, I realise just how important balance is. And it's something I've always had quite naturally, I think, just through all of the different activities I've done. But it's quite stark when you see somebody who hasn't got the best balance, just how much that throws off the rest of their movement. So the reason this is so crucial, especially when you're moving at really intense speeds, is because it's very easy, unless you've got literally perfect technique, which nobody has, to slightly move in the wrong direction, or you waste a bit of energy here and there. And because of that, then your momentum starts going in the wrong way. So having that strong core is essential to be able to control your momentum and reset yourself, rather than just falling completely off balance, which puts you in a very vulnerable position. And this is also going to go a long way towards preventing injuries as well. And some people get really excited and try and, you know, throw with too much power when they haven't really got the experience to do that or the foundational technique. And when they do that, it's always things like the lower back that take the brunt of that punishment. So having that strong core in this area acts as kind of like a shield around your body, and again it ties into that balance aspect. If you're about to fall off balance, having that strength and stability allows you to reset quickly and, in the injury prevention case, protect your body. And in terms of performance as well, something that's often not spoken about is a massive increase in your endurance. And people usually think things like endurance and strength in the core are disconnected, and you know, we have specific things to work upon our endurance. But the reason it does help with endurance in this way is because you're not wasting energy. You know, if you've got weakness in the core, then every little minor movement is prone to kind of throw your body out of the most efficient alignment, and because of that your movements aren't economical, and so everything is using just a little bit more energy than it should do, and it also makes it slower and more clunky as well. So improved endurance is one of these kind of hidden benefits that you get from having really good core strength and composure. And then as this further develops as well, it allows you to maintain good technique throughout your training sessions. So usually when people start and they're feeling fresh and strong, they'll be really powerful and have good form, but as they start to fatigue and get tired, their form starts to slip. But again, having the strength in those key muscles is going to allow you to perform better for longer. In terms of things like agility and being able to change directions quickly, that's obviously another massive component of martial arts. And I would say my own agility, which is to a really high level, is because of my core strength, and it's just being able to control your movements so everything happens just a little bit more quickly and efficiently. And last but not least, before we get into the practical tutorial section, something that I'm always talking about on this channel is facilitating a nice clean transfer of the energy from the lower into the upper body, which is just absolutely essential in striking. And the reason why people struggle in this area and can't really generate that force that they're looking for is because of that weakness in the core. And the reason that happens is because the energy generated from the legs before it comes up into the upper body is lost somewhere along the way, so you're only getting a little bit of that energy that makes it into your final strike at the end. So having that core strength basically acts like a very strong vessel that can contain the energy and not allow it to escape, so then more of it can actually make it into your final movement. So those are just some of the myriad of benefits you can get by really developing your strength in this area, and this is something that you should be doing throughout all of your martial arts practice. Like, your techniques are going to develop this somewhat, but I think having something like this is just a boost that's really going to take it to that next level. So what I'm going to be demonstrating first is not the full exercise, but I decided to include this because, as I mentioned, the full thing is advanced, and if you don't already have sufficient strength, then you might not even be able to physically do it. So watch all the way through, and then if that's you, then do this first part as a prerequisite. Now obviously you need parallel bars for this, and I shot this in a park for the sake of ease of shooting, but this starting movement would actually be better done at a gym, and most have something like this dip and pull up station with these handles and backrest. So although I don't have these here, if you try this at your gym with one of these, that will be even easier. Now all I'm doing here is engaging my core and lifting my legs to waist height, and then lowering them down in a controlled manner while being suspended in the air. The next progression is then to lift yourself up onto the bars like this and perform the same movement. And this engages more of the core because you're having to stabilize and control yourself during the movements to keep them controlled. And then once you're able to do this, then you can move on to the full exercise, which is the same as before, but you lift your legs as high as you can, and ideally you want to get them to eye level or above. When doing this, the last part of it is the hardest and where you need to engage the core the most. You raise the legs up that last few degrees, and to do that you really have to engage those muscles hard to get the legs up. This movement needs to be done slowly and with control, so don't cheat yourself by swinging and using that momentum to get the legs up, or you won't get the benefit. And remember to keep your legs as straight as possible. When you're doing this, don't compromise your stability to try to get the legs higher. Just go as high as you can while keeping your body nice and still. The next part targets the intercostal muscles and obliques, which will translate to powerful hook punches and maintaining power when kicking high. For this you have to do the same movement as before, but twisting to one side as you do it. And you can see by my face here, this is difficult, especially when you're already fatigued from the previous exercise. So that's it basically. It's really simple, and I always like to do simple things that are very easy to implement. And I usually will do this after a session, and it takes no time at all. So you've got a couple of options here in terms of reps. For the easiest version, I'd recommend just doing as many as you can, as it is quite easy. But if you're able to do the full movement, then you can do sets of 5 to 8 repetitions with a 45-second rest in between each exercise. And it doesn't sound like much, but just try it and you'll see what I mean. Alternatively, you can just do each to failure with a 90-second rest in between each exercise. Thank you very much for watching this one, guys, and just remember, this is a very advanced exercise and it might take you a bit of time to work up to it. But on that same note, because it is something that's very difficult, you don't have to do exhaustive amounts of repetitions to really make it work for you. Like, even just trying to get into that final position is going to go a long way to helping you in this. And this will also really help you in developing those more advanced level skills like an L-sit and then finally working into a V-sit. So if you really work on this, you'll definitely be able to achieve those skills as well. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks very much.